Hi, I'm Bet from Bet's Makes, and today we're going to go from photo to SVG file. You'll see a little example on my screen here. This is a picture of my husband from last winter, and we transformed it, got rid of the background, and then made all these various layers. Now we're not going to use this picture, so I'm just going to click on the X and I'm going to hide this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go grab a picture, and it doesn't have to be a person, but we are going to grab a picture, and then we're going over to a website that is called remove.bg, and you can see it right here, remove.bg. So I'm going to upload an image, and I have lots of floral type images, and I'm just going to scroll down and I'm going to find something that we can use for doing some layering. So let's just see what I have here in the list. I've got some really nice flowers that we can use for layering. We have an apple. I just want to pick something that's fairly simple. I'm going to show you a couple of ways that we can deal with layering. Now, some of these photos, we have some gnomes down here. I know we have some more images of flowers. And let's just pick on this pink one right here. Hopefully this one will work. And I'm going to click on open. And what's going to happen, it's going to remove our background. And as you can see back here, most of the background is gone. And this is now a PNG image that I'm going to download. So let's just check it. So we'll click on download, and it is a PNG. Now I have to transfer this from PNG to an SVG file. So the next thing I get to do is I get to go over here to another place, and it's called png to svg.com. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a file here, and it says choose a file. I just have to scroll down a little bit. So I'm going to choose the file that we just removed the background. And this is one way of doing it. And it gives us the color palette. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 color palettes here, which is great. And I'm just going to generate. Anything that's extra here, we don't really have to worry about it, because if it's an SVG file, then we can take care of it from there. Now you see all the various little layers that you see here. I went 5 colors, but what would happen if I went 8 colors? What would the difference be? So take a look at it here. I'm going to generate it again. And we'll just see if it comes up with a crisper set of colors, and it'll just take a few seconds. It's at 45%. Now that looks more realistic to me, a lot less gray. So I'm going to download the SVG. So let me just click on download. Now we're going to see how this is going to work when we get into Design Space. So I'm going back over to Cricut Design Space. And I'm going to click on upload, and I'm going to upload the image that we just created. I'm going to click on browse and preview PNG, and there it is. It just says image 2 vector S. That's what it named it when it downloaded it. And it says, wow, that's a large image, which is fine, but I'm going to change the name out here. And I'm going to call it Hydrangea SVG, just so I know what it is. And it's picked out as a cut image. So I'm just going to upload it. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to add it to our canvas. And it'll come out, and look at all the different layers that we ended up with. Now we don't necessarily need all of these layers. I like 5. Now, if I take a look at, say, let's just hide this whole thing, and let's just bring up one at a time. So we have a little background that looks like this. And then we have another one that goes on top, which is a slightly different color. We could almost make those one. And we have another one with a little more green, another color, and another green. And if we take a look at the top part here, we can add that, we get another green. So there's several different layers of green here. They all look really good. Now I'm just going to turn those green ones off because we may be able to fix this up so we get exactly what we want. Now another green one showing. Okay, so let's take a look at our bottom basic cut. We have one color here, another color on top. This is really gorgeous. And the third one on top. So I like that layering. I don't necessarily like the stuff that is in behind because I didn't like the top part. So what I'm going to do is just turn these off, and I'm going to go back to this basic cut. Now we've got all this extra stuff at the top, and I don't necessarily think we need to have all these little bits and parts. So I'm going to turn on the next layer, which is a little different color. I'm going to just pull these together, and I'm going to weld those together so they become one, and it's just one color, and then I can get rid of all the extra little bits at the top that I don't want. I'm going to click on shapes. I'm going to pick on a square. Click on that square. I'm going to unlock it because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring it across the top like this. That looks pretty good. I'm going to highlight both of these, and then I'm going to come down here to slice. Just going to slice the pieces so I can take this piece, get rid of it. I can click on this piece and get rid of it, and this piece and get rid of it. Now it's cleaned it up quite a bit. So now I have this piece available, and that's gone to the top. So I'm going to just drag it down here to the bottom again. There we go. Get rid of this down here too. Okay, so the next one is a basic cut. And it comes up with some more of the stuff at the top. And the next one up adds another little bit of color. Now I don't turn that one off, and I'm going to leave this one on. I want to get rid of that top part again. And this is just working with your files in order to get them the way you want them. I'm going to unlock it. And then of course, I'm just going to cut off this top piece again. I'm not going to worry about the extra little bits because we're not going to use those anyway. So I'm going to highlight them. What I got here? Oh, I've got an extra bit. I just want the one I'm looking at. Shift click this one. There we go. The two pieces and slice. You can only have two pieces with slice. So I can get rid of this part and this part and this part. So I don't have a lot of extras here now. Now this basic cut has to come down here. There we go. So I've got this one. This one should actually go on top of that one. There we go. So now we've got this one, and then we finally have this one. I turn that off. I'm going to turn it back on. Yeah, that's an important one. And then we have our basic cut here, and that has a few extra things at the top as well. So I want to click on this one. I want to get rid of those extra bits. Now, when you're creating a photo or taking a photo and changing it into an SVG, sometimes it's a little more difficult to be able to select. Now, I just have to wait for the memory to catch up to me here, saying it needs some catching up. It's not allowing me to select right now, but that's interesting. Okay, let me just lift this up a bit, and I'm just going to cut off a few bits here. I should be able to just take these two right here. There we go. And it looks like I have more than I want. So I want this one and shift click this one. And now I can slice. And I can get rid of the extra little bits here. There, that cleans the top part up. Now there's a lot of little fiddly bits here, but you can decide what you want to add in and what you want to leave out at this point. So I'm going to take this basic cut, and I'm just going to slide it down underneath here. And what is this one? That's the nice other color. Now we can fill some things in with these as well from what you can see. So let me just take these, and I can flatten them and then use the contour if I want to get rid of some of the extra holes. But right now, you know, this is okay. So let's take a look at the next little pieces that are going to sit on top. Now that one looks really nice. And this one looks really nice. And this one looks really nice. So we have this beautiful flower. and we have some greenery below it. Now you probably thinking, okay, I want to click on just one of these. I'm going to click on contour. This is the bottom one, and it'll just take a second or two to load up. And once it does, I'm going to hide all contours on it, and you're going to see the big difference. It's just taking its time to load up. It's a pretty big image. I just have to bear with this for a second. I can't move anything until it's ready. There we go. And I'm going to hide all contours. And what that's going to do is it's going to close up some of the extra little bits that I had. So now I'm just going to click the X. Hopefully it will show up the way I want it to. And I hit all those contours. I'm going to click on the next one and click on contour. It'll just take a second or two to pick up all the little pieces. It just, the image is pretty large, so let me just click away from that. So let's take a look. Let's turn off some of these other green ones that we have. You see it's taking its time on the basic cut here. And I'm not too sure if I want any of the green ones at this point, but here's the one that we were working on, hiding all the contours. Now I should be able to pull this away. Click on it. Doesn't seem to want to move. But you get the general idea of moving this into an SVG file. Now this is really gorgeous. I would probably just use the flower part of it. So let's see what we can do when we come to a human part of it. So let me just click on save, and we're going to do this hydrangea SVG. And I'm going to just do this as part of my October. There we go. October makes, all selected. I'm going to save it. Saved. Click the little tick mark. I'm going to go to new. Now this time we're going to find a photo that we're going to upload and see what the difference is. So let's move our share back over to our PNG, but we're going to go back to this background. So I'm going to upload another image. And this time I'm going to see if I have one with some people in it and make it a simple layering project. I see a lot of stuff that I have is pretty complicated, but sometimes if you take an individual photo, and those are all flowers, what we're going to do is just search for something that is people related. You must be able to tell that I just love taking pictures of flowers. Well, let's pick on something pretty easy. This one is, let's do a candy gnome. Now that's already a JPEG, so it's a photo of something. So I'm going to click on open. And it's going to go ahead, and I'm going to be able to download this now as a PNG file because the background is now removed. So let me just download this. Okay, Gnome Candy. Now let's go over to our PNG to SVG. And we want to choose a new file here. And we want our PNG. I'm going to click open. Now it's giving us the palette, like we've got it set to 8 colors. Well, I don't want 8 colors. You know, I want maybe 4. So let me just click on a couple of minuses here. Let's go with 4 colors, black, white, and an orangey color and a red. All right, let's generate this one. It looks pretty good. I'm going to download the SVG. And remember, it gives it a weird name. So let's go over here. Let's do our share. Let's go back to design space. and I'm going to click on upload. I'm going to upload the image and browse for it. And it says image vector. I'm going to open it. There we go. And I'm just going to call this gnome vector. Gnome vector, and I'm going to upload it. I'm going to grab it and I'm going to add it to the canvas. Now you see I've got a number of layers here. I've got the red layer, and we have behind that red layer, we have a basic cut. Now there's one that we don't really need. Well, we need that part, but we don't need all of it. And what else do we have? We have a basic cut here, and that's the beard. And we have another cut here, and that's the outline of the gnome. So those look pretty good. Okay, so just click on it. Nope, I'll leave this one on. Let's just click on it and let's just pull this guy apart. I'm going to ungroup it. We could probably add some other colors. So we have this one all by itself. We have this one, and we have this one, and then this one all by itself. Now, if we take a look at this one, there's some little pieces and parts down here we maybe don't want. We want to keep the flower. That is really cool, having that flower. There's the part of the nose. Well, we could probably fill the nose in and get rid of some of these extra little lines. So it is not the most perfect thing that we can work with, but I'm going to take this one, this little piece, and I'm going to contour. It's going to come up with some of the contour pieces that we can work with here and clean up our image. So, for example, if I wanted to get rid of some of these pieces in here, I could hide all the contours. So everything is hidden, and then decide exactly what I wanted to show. So I might just pick on this outside edge and decide I want to show the flower. So the flower will be part of our cut. And is there anything else that I need there that really makes a difference? Probably not. So I'm just going to click the X. Just remember what we can improve it. So now I've got the bottom part here all ready to go. Now let's take a look at this next piece and let's contour it as well. I actually don't need a lot of it, so I'm going to hide all contours. And this is part of the flower, so I'm going to keep that, and I'm going to keep the beard part. Do I need anything else from there? No, I think this is the one we want. Those two pieces, perfect. I'm going to click the X. Now I have these two pieces that are going to fit over top of this. Yes, that works beautifully well. So let's take into the next one. I'm going to click on contour, and I'm going to hide all contours and then decide what I want to keep. Well, I want to keep this one, and I want to keep this one, and that is it. So I'm going to click the X, and now we have our pieces that are going to fit right in here. Last but not least, I want to now click on contour with this one as well. And I'm going to hide all contours. And if I go down to the bottom, let's see, I want to keep this big piece here. And that's what it's keeping. And I want to keep the flower. And I don't think I really need anything else in here. These are all little dots and pieces that I don't like extra dots and pieces. So I've cleaned it up the way I want it. Don't need any of these extra pieces. I can always cut a circle to fit in the middle, and I'll click the X. And now I have exactly what I want. Now let's try and put this little guy together. So we know it's got to fit over that. There we go. And then we have this extra beard part, and guess what? We really don't need that one, so I can actually delete it. But we do need this extra piece right here. And we have one more little piece that we should have, and we should have a circle in the center here for the nose. So we can draw our own circle. So let's go to the shapes and let's pick on a circle. And we can have this as a black circle as well. Just fit him into place. This is going to go over the top. And there we go. So we could move this beard to the bottom. I'm just going to give you some examples of what it could look like. Beard is at the bottom, and then the hat, and then the black pieces on top. So we've got the basic cut and the basic cut. Shift those two together and just make sure we've got them aligned exactly where we want them. And those look great. Now we could cut them out as one piece or put them on together. I tend to let this one come on by itself and this one by itself as well. And since the beard's to the back, we know that we're just going to fit this over top, and that works as a great place for alignment when you go to put things together. So now we have 4 different cuts here. And actually with this one, we actually don't need the hole in the center. So let's go through and contour it. And we're going to hide all contours, and we'll click the X. And now we just have the beard by itself. It will fit underneath here. And then we have our feet that will fit in. And then of course our nose, and you can do anything else you want it. So that was a picture. Now I realized it had a chocolate thing in the middle, but you could print and cut anything you want. And that gives us a nice SVG file with many different layers, and it will cut out in 4 pieces. So if I showed you, I'm going to make it here, and it should just come up with the mats exactly what we want. We want on mat. I'm not too sure if I have to turn this on to show you, but we will. This will be on mat and done. So now we have our beard. Cut it out of anything you want. We have the circle and we have the feet. Now they're printing out on 2 different things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this circle, click on the 3 dots. I'm going to move the object. Click on it, move the object. I'm going to move it to this one back here. And now I have them all cutting out in the same material. And I can use a 2 by 3 inch piece here. This mat will now go away. I have the beard by itself and I have the red by itself. Now, if you are using all the same type of material, you can move these together. So I'm going to move this object. Watch me click on it twice for some reason. I'm going to move it to the front mat. And then what I can do is just move it over, and I can apply red to this and white to this. And I could actually take these other 2 black pieces and put them towards the bottom. As long as they are all the same material, you want to do that. So let's just move these onto the white mat as well. And let's just move the little feet down here. And I think we had 1 more to move. And we can move this object. We're going to the white mat as well. And we will just bring it down here. Right down here. No, I'll have to bring it over here. So let's just get it tight in there. Only using 2 inches. Perfect. So now we have these cutting out, this and this with the heart. This is white, this is red, this is black. And we have all 3 ready to go. So then I'm just going to click on continue. It will load up. I'm using my Maker 3 here. But the really interesting part is you can have as many layers as you want when you go PNG to SVG. It is really simple to do. I would generally use a medium cardstock, and all it's going to do is cut, load my mat, cut, and then all I have to do is assemble it. So that is a short lesson on being able to create SVGs from photos. So I'm just going to go back to the share here, PNG to SVG, come back here. So the first thing you want to do is upload your photo to remove.bg, and then you'll be able to get the background gone so that you can work with just the image itself. Once you have that all ready and downloaded as a PNG file, you come over to PNG to SVG, you upload your file, And once you upload your file, you decide how many colors in your color palette, or if you want to simplify it, and it'll come up with your download SVG. Once you've done that, then you can upload it to Design Space. Let's go back to Design Space and click on Share. Just going to cancel this cut and cancel this one. And then you end up with your layers that you can then work with. So I'm just going to stop my share and say goodbye for now and happy crafting.